We are officially at the All-Star break. You got to love that. And we got a lot to talk about today. First half of the season's over. How about the win in New York, beating the Yankees? Aaron Judge and the Yankees, back-to-back games. Yankees looked really good on Friday. Cody Bellinger looked like MVP belly. Didn't see him a whole lot after that, thanks to Matthew Boyd and Shota Imanaga. Pitching always trumps hitting. We know that in this game. Pitching and defense, right? That's why today we're going to talk about a couple of guys that Bob Nightengale of the USA Today says could potentially be coming to the Cubs in a trade, or at least guys they're kicking the tires on. We're not talking starting pitching. We're talking back-end bullpen. How about Daniel Palencia nailing down both of those games with the Heat? But he could still use some help. And that's why I think the Cubs are interested in a couple of twins that are difference makers in Duran and Jax. We're going to get into that. Guess who is hosting the All-Star Game? It's going to be Wrigley Field. Going to be the Cubs in 2027, according to reports. That is cool. It's been a long time since Rhino won that home run derby at Wrigley. Trade watch. Why haven't we seen the Jaguar? Why haven't we seen Wiggins? I'm going to tell you why coming up. And then the draft rolling along. Cubs made their pick, first rounder. A little bit of a surprise. It took a guy with a shoulder injury, but they must feel really good about him. And we're going to talk all about Conrad and why they felt like they should take him. So we're going to do that on the show right here. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell. Everything that we ask you Cubs fans to do. And we ask you Cardinals fans, thank you for being here. How did you like us beating the Yankees in New York? Pretty cool, huh? Thanks, everybody. It is Mick Gillespie, and it is a absolute pleasure to have you guys here on the channel today at Broadcaster Mick as we march towards 10,000 subscribers. You guys are awesome. Thank you for making this part of your day. And with the All-Star break here, everyone just kind of, licking their wounds, sitting back. We don't have Matthew Boyd in the All-Star game. Obviously, he was hurt. And, no, he wasn't hurt. He just decided to opt out of it because he wanted to rest his arm for the second half of the season. Tip of the cap to you, my friend, because we need you to look like you did when you were just dicing up those Yankees on Saturday. Saturday in New York, watching Matthew Boyd rip and tear through the Yankees. Beautiful thing, except Judge, but he's tough. And then you got Hollywood Pete in the outfield. Can't wait to see that. And obviously, Kyle Tucker, great. It's going to be great. Two awesome Cubs made it to actually play in the game. So I love the All-Star game, though. I think it's great. I'm glad that guys still care a lot about it and that it's really important. All right, here's two guys that are one of the guys we like. I've had dinner with Bob Nightengale in the past. Our friend Gary Hughes, the late, great, incredible scout and even better person, was good friends with Bob. He's one of the best resources that you have in this game because when he says it, he's on the money. And Jhoan, Duran, Griffin, Jax, two guys that the Twins are getting a lot of conversation from other teams about, including the Cubs. Now, are the Cubs the most aggressive in this area? I don't know. And you're saying, now, why aren't we talking starting pitching, Mick? Didn't you see what happened Friday when we didn't have a starting pitcher? Hey, look, Ben Brown is better than the options that I saw on Friday. Okay? Put Flexen back in the pen. I'll take Jekyll and Hyde Brown over what we saw that particular game. But at least the Cubs pitching staff got the Yankees tired for the whoopings that they took on Saturday and Sunday. They just let them swing all the time. There was a longtime minor league manager named Buddy Bailey that used to believe that if there was a game like that it would tire you out. And I don't disagree with him. And he would talk a little like this. Mick, you don't get 6 at-bats in a game. You don't get to hit 4 home runs and run the bases like that a lot.
That's not how it works. And you get really tired out there when that happens. And that's why the teams, I try to get guys out of the game because I know they're not used to that. Look, we're in July.
Look, I don't know if that's the best Buddy Bailey impression, but Buddy's one of the best all-time baseball guys, and he's exactly right. Like, not just the great pitching, but you're not used to your body to running and hitting and taking that many at-bats. Those guys clobbered the ball. They were all over the bases, and then it was like the ice storm came in. It was the Boyd Imanaga storm, and we froze out New York. Now, we could definitely use a starter in that spot. I say put Ben Brown in over what we saw there, or go out and get somebody. And we're going to continue to follow the Cubs as they try to add a starter. But these are two relievers. And just because you go out and get a starter, some guys think we should get two. You would still love to get a guy like Duran in the back end of the bullpen. I mean, can you imagine him and Palencia? Oh, man, that would be amazing. Two dudes that just throw gas. Duran's 27. He averages more than 100 miles an hour on his fastball. He's done that for the season through his career. And he punches out 31% of the guys that he rates, that he faces, right? He's got a 63, almost a 64% ground ball rate. Okay, this guy can go out there and get the job done. And teams know that, and they're going after him. So he's able to go out there. Guys can't hit him, and then he gets the ground balls. Oh, you love that in the late innings. He's an elite closer. And, since 22, he's got an earned run average under 240, which is amazing within itself. So that, to me, is pretty sweet, right? Then you got Jax. Started out his rookie year as a starter, didn't go well, throw him in the bullpen, and all of a sudden this guy is turning it around. And this year, he's one of the reasons that the Cubs struggled in the series against the Twins, right? And they did, man. The guy's he's striking out 38% of the guys that he faces this year, and he's walking under 6%, right? And then his ground ball rate is almost 70%. So you're not getting the ball in the air where damage is done. And when you look at both of these guys, you're talking about under team control until 2027. So there's a bunch of teams that are interested in them besides the Cubs. But why not? You know that's going to be the case for any pitching, especially high leverage, late inning guys. And whether it's the Cubs or the Tigers, whether it's, other teams like the Yankees or Philadelphia or whoever. These are the type of pitchers that help you win the World Series, because when you get into those spots where you need to get those big outs, they can help you do it. And, when I look at the Cubs bullpen, yeah, they've done really well this year, but Porter Hodge has been hurt. I don't know what his season's going to look like. It just hasn't been there health-wise, right? Palencia has been great. They traded for Presley, and it's been, that he doesn't have the elite stuff, but he knows how to get outs. And I think that's important, right? But or Keller and Pomerantz, and, you go down the line, and there's been some really impressive guys. Thielbar, these guys have been impressive, but is this going to last? Because some of these guys don't have a track record of an entire season of success, or they're older and you wonder how their arms are going to hold up. That's why I feel like Nightengale's right. They may get into this, and if they're all in, like I think they are, then they might make a move here in this area. I don't think they could get both guys, but they could get one of them. Talking about Bob Nightengale, throw him up again. He reported first that the Cubs would have the 2027 AllStar Game in the Windy City of Chicago, North Side, friendly confines, Wrigley Field. How awesome is this? How many of you guys remember 91 and the Rhino winning the home run derby, right? How awesome was that? Well, that was because we got lights. This is because of the whole infrastructure being reworked, all the concrete, all the steel, all the buildings around it. we talk about on here, and I read your comments, and a lot of you guys can't stand Tom Ricketts and the Ricketts family. That's the tough part about being owners of teams. I've known him since he bought the team. I know his family. They have done a phenomenal job building back Wrigley Field. And there was a time, remember, we could go back before they were able to fix the infrastructure. They were serious about maybe not playing there anymore. And what a shame that would have been. I mean, it is an absolute treasure. It's one of the best places on earth to go to. I mean, just walking in there is like, oh, this is amazing. I've always said it's a TV set because grew up watching WGN television, Harry and Steve, and then I walk in, I'm like, man, it looks so much smaller than it did on TV, but it looks so much cooler in person, right? It's just, boom. It's larger than life, but it looks like a TV set. Love Wrigley Field. And I'm so glad that they're going to bring the AllStar game there. They were worried about some security stuff. They got to lock the streets down. There's there's a lot of terrorist threats and crazy stuff that can happen. And I don't think that they really knew how that was going to affect an All-Star game being in Wrigley. Would they be able to get the streets shut down? And I think that Major League Baseball is pretty satisfied with that. And I'm excited about it. So that'll be awesome to see. We talk a lot on the show about the trade watch, right? The trade watch. What are we talking about with the trade watch? Well, trade watch is when you have minor league players and you pull them out and you go, hey, you're out of here right now because we're trading you. And a lot of times you'll see guys handshake and high fives and on the way out because, they're getting traded. In the middle of the game, it happens sometimes. Kevin Alcantara, we call him the Jaguar, a couple days ago in Iowa, pulled out of the game. Our friend Tommy Birch is like, it's not that he got traded or was going to get traded. He's been dealing with an injury, and they pulled him out because of that. Will that affect his trade status? I don't know. But I feel like he's one of the guys that if the Cubs could get a deal for him, I think they would like to take it if they got some value back. Now, Jackson Wiggins, we've talked about that on here. Marquee they broke the fact that the Cubs are basically load managing him. He is coming off throwing 59 innings. Now he's at 60, hasn't thrown since June 20th. Supposedly he's going to start pitching again next week. He's a guy whose name's up in a lot of these trade conversations. I don't know how the Cubs get through the trade deadline without trading him. If they get pitchers like Duran or like Jax or whoever, because he's one of those guys that can really bring a lot of value back. I mean, he's just got the look, and I feel like you could put him in the bullpen right now. I've said it over and over again. He could pitch in the Cubs bullpen, high leverage situation right now. Give me an inning. Now, I don't know how long he would last, but he's got that kind of stuff, and he's got the right mentality. So, no trade watch on either one of these guys. Although I kind of feel like I say that, and I kind of feel like with Wiggins that that maybe part of it is just to save him so that nothing happens. He's got more mileage on the tires when you go ahead and trade him in, right? And that's kind of equated that to like your used car, right? If you get over 60,000. 62,000 miles, you lose $10,000 on the trade-in sometimes, right? Under that, it's like, well, it's got 59,000. 59, 62. Whoa. So even though it's not that much difference, it's just funny how that works. All right, last thing on today's show. Ethan Conrad, the Cubs selection in the draft out of Wake Forest, first-round pick, 17th overall. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm never a fan of drafting guys that are injured. And he had shoulder surgery, and that was a long time ago, and he didn't really play a whole lot at Wake Forest. He played at Marist. He was good there. Marist is definitely a step down from the division of baseball that's played in the ACC, one of the best college baseball division. Not to take anything away from Marist, but it's just different, right? And it would have been probably telling to see what he would have been able to do had he gone through a season of baseball in the ACC. But he dominated at Marist, and so the Cubs select him, left-handed batter, big dude, a lot of tools, right? 6'3", 220, can hit for power, can make contact. He's got some wheels. I don't know if this selection is, he was the first outfielder taken, right? I don't know if this is, hey, we're about to trade Casey and we might not sign Tucker. And so we're covering our backsides on this. I still say if you don't have one of those two guys, then, maybe finding something else to do is a better career, because I think you got to have one or the other. But this is an insurance policy maybe on that. And I respect that, right? Because that's planning ahead, and they're trying to figure out, hey, what's that going to look like? So I don't know if those two things line up, but they could. Now at Marist and 24, he slashed 389, 467, and 704. He had 13 triples and 9 home runs and 52 batted in, right? And then he went to the Cape Cod League and turned a bunch of heads. And that Cape Cod League, if you don't know, it's a college wood bat summer league, and it's in the Cape up in Massachusetts, and only the best of the best are invited there. And a lot of times scouts go up there and they get to see these guys hit with a wood bat against the best competition, and they get an idea of what a player brings to the table. And that could easily be the case here with Conrad, and to the point where they're like, you know what? He's got the shoulder issue, but we feel like we didn't want to take the risk of not getting him. We'll take him here. Maybe they weren't enamored with some of the other guys that were behind him in the draft, and then you pay him less money, and then you can draft somebody else and use that cash that you didn't spend, but you might have had to spend more on somebody else to sign some more better players. So it's almost like you might be able to just sneak a second, almost first round pick in, right? Talent wise anyway. So, so we'll see. But the disappointing part is that, these guys over the last few years, Matt Shaw and then Cam Smith last year, like they shot up through the minor league system. Like these guys were in Double-A their first year, and they were, pretty good. I don't know with the shoulder injury when we're actually going to see Ethan Conrad, but first outfielder selected, and someone that has a bunch of upside. And I guess, that's it. Upside to me means two things. First off, it means there's the potential to really blow the pick out of the water. And you're like, hey, this is a great pick. I feel really good about this. This guy's going to be a difference maker, and he can do potentially a whole lot. And I'll be honest, the other thing too is his swing from the videos I was watching kind of reminds me of the way he gets on the ball, like Kyle Tucker, which I thought was a pretty big compliment. But the other part of, potential is, hey, he could potentially stink. We don't know. We saw him at Marist. Are you going to draft a guy out of Marist in the first round? Man, maybe not, because to be able to really gauge a player, you got to watch at bat after bat after bat against elite pitching. You're looking for weaknesses, and then you're looking for weaknesses that are correctable, right? Because scouts watch these guys and they're like, hey, you know what? This guy he's letting his hands down. He's swinging over this breaking ball. He doesn't do this, or he does this. And they know a lot of times how to fix that, So if he does this, or if somebody teaches him that, or if he starts doing this, it could be really good. And I think that when you look at potential, you're kind of right there. So it's a little bit of a risk in the first round. It's not one of those picks where you're like last year when you got Cam Smith, you're like, man, this is a great pick. When you got Matt Shaw, you're like, man, this is a great pick. It's more like, you know what? Maybe this is a great pick. But since the guy hasn't played since like April, we don't really know what it would have been like going through the grind of an ACC season. But at Marist, he was good. And for summer ball, he was good. I hope he turns out to have a fantastic career, and it's going to be fun to watch how the rest of this draft turns out. But guys, I want to say again to you, first half of the season being over, and tell you that, and I mean this genuinely, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all of the comments that you've put in the comments section. Thank you for engaging and making this channel not feel like MLB Network and ESPN and kind of like rubber stamped, but just all of us sitting at a bar talking about baseball, the way that Harry Carey taught us to do it, right? been so much fun to be on here. It's kind of been a dream. And as this thing continues to grow, we're going to continue to do more stuff with it, right? So the next goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers, and I know we're going to do that. We've hit every goal we've had so far, and hopefully we'll do that before we win the World Series this year. But thank you. Just a time to tell you how much I appreciate all of you guys, and even some of you Cardinals fans. I know I give you guys shit every day. Sorry, bleep that out. But this is one of those times where it's just cool to be a baseball fan. Let's watch the home run derby. Let's have a little. We're on the same team, Cardinals, at least for a couple days. So we might as well pal up from here until after the All-Star break, and hope that the NL wins the All-Star game. All right, like, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell, share with your friends. Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Great way to end the first half. Nothing makes me happier than the Cubs going into the Bronx and whooping up on the Yankees. I loved it. It was great. Now get us a pitcher, front office, a starter. So we got 3 guys that can pitch like Imanaga and and Boyd. Hey, we'll do it again maybe later today when the draft's complete. Thank you so much. Go